So you recently crossed over 100 million total sales. You said 103.
Yeah, probably.
Right. So what do you think is the biggest breakthroughs along the way that you feel like kind of helped elevate you guys through the different stages and eventually over there?
We were low ticket to start. No idea what we're doing. That's how we got into it.
Yeah.
And it was like 100-ish. Well, like that's how we got to 1 million. The jump from 1 to 10 was doing call funnel, but we were selling info.
Right.
So it was a lifetime access. It started at $500, went to 1,000, went to 1,500.
Yeah.
And then from 10 to 30 was changing it from info to coaching.
Right.
So it was 1-to-1 instead. Like those were like the big, like if you had to look at the charts, that's what the change was.
That's 30 per year.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it was like 1, 9, 10, 30, 0.5 or whatever, 34 this last year. So like it's gone up every time.
What do you think?
But the stair steps was the offer.
What do you think is the biggest difference? Because like, it's really interesting with health offers. It's like a lot of people can't break, let's say 600 a month. Yeah. And then there's a handful of people, and there's like several who pretty much, I mean, look, like there's differences in the offer, but it's like pretty much the same offer, but they're ripping like 2 a month, 3 a month, 4 a month, 5 a month. I mean, I have a client doing, I don't know the exact number, but I know at one point it was 8 to 10 a month.
Yeah.
Right. So like, what do you think's the difference between those, like the few people who are doing massive numbers? And then like, I would say most of like people in my mastermind who have an offer like yours are probably like 4 to 600, 3 to 600 ish.
Yeah. It's kind of like I always hear people say like, oh, like call funnels cap at like 3 million a month, or this happens at like 1 million a month or 600 in that example. And I really don't think that it's that. Like, I don't think that people should even look at it as it's at a dollar value, because it's really volume. So like if someone has a 30K thing or someone has a 5K thing, or like we had a competition with these guys that have a 25K offer, like 7K offer. So you like, and like it's different. Yeah. So it's very different in terms of that. So that's first is like, I don't think it's the dollars. The difference in health market, I know 3 by name of like, that's kind of in our world, that's in health. And I'm sure there's a ton of ones that we don't know.
Yeah.
But that are in our world that are doing over 10. Right now.
Right.
And,
who are they? Can you say who they are?
Probably not.
Probably not.
So I can break down their whole business models.
Yeah. Well, I know V-Shred, obviously.
Yep.
And then
within health. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't say the next one. And then I'm trying to think of somebody else, but are you saying over 10 doing like more like high ticket stuff? Or are you saying some of those people doing over 10 almost are kind of like an e-commerce high ticket blend?
Yeah. So, and that's where I'm going with it is like,
and by the way, if you like this content and you want to come to our next event where I'm gathering all entrepreneurs, people like Ryan, and we're talking about what's working in the industry, what's not working in the industry, and the lessons that we've learned scaling to over 100 million in total revenue. We have an event coming up in our 8-figure boardroom mastermind. If you want to know more information about that, you can click the link in the description and it'll tell you all about it.
And essentially at like an acquisition source at a certain point of a certain volume, like it just doesn't make sense to not be sweeping up or getting economy differences that you can get from something that's direct to cart or having direct to cart subscription on back. Like it just at that size starts to make sense to have either multiple products for LTV side or multiple acquisition types to like offset and like liquidate.
Yeah.
So, 1, 2, and 3 all use some version of a direct to cart.
Right.
As like an ascension model.
Yeah.
And whether that's like a test kit thing, whether that's an info product, whether that's whatever. And then they are massive direct response towards those things. They get the liquidation, they get the buyers instead of leads, and then they go through that. So it's like, that's our direction completely. Cause it's like, it's just so clear to us.
It's very clear. I would
volatility of just raw ramming lead funnels. And when I say that, I always call them lead funnels, but like opt-ins, VSL, free
anything
lead
that's lead gen.
Anything that's lead gen where there's not direct liquidation and people don't become a customer is like a lead funnel in my mind. And like they're needed and you need new lead flow to come in. It's sometimes cheaper, but sometimes not cheaper, even when you do liquidation. Like we've had days or, let's say we run a low ticket, like you can have a $100 CPA with a $90 AOV and it costs you $10 burned to get a customer, and you're getting $10 leads over here on a lead funnel, and those are not the same people.
No, not the same people.
Those are not the same people.
I would amend what you're saying to add something else, though. I would say the only other over 100 million health type of thing you could do is brand. So I'll give you an example. If he wouldn't do this, but if Andrew Huberman launched a health offer,
for sure,
like he would probably be ripping, not even trying, 5 million a month.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I meant by
really was
people in our world is what I meant by, cause like,
people who aren't famous.
Yeah. People who are not, and people like, there's a bunch of these companies that we were talking about the AI stuff a little bit, but like, that it's found where I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Never heard of them. It is info. It is in that world. It's direct response. And I've never heard of them. They're not in our groups or things or anything. But the other one that's in that grouping of health, has a different traffic source, which is very interesting. So instead of having different acquisition and how they do their tiers or whatever, they basically do an affiliate / like partnership model. So they partner with,
I know who you're
right?
talking
Yeah. And they crush, right?
That's
and it's
a
like
very
this huge volume
unique
play, but
thing.
it can be used in a lot of, I mean, I believe that it could be used in a lot of ways. And of course it's on the back of all these guys who do direct response,
right?
The low tickets
right.
thing.
And that's the one thing that's so I'll tell you a story is I went to this mastermind in 2020, literally the month before COVID. Like they almost canceled it because of COVID, but COVID nobody really knew if it was going to like break massively in the US. And at the time I was doing 150,000 a month with me and a part-time coach. So I'm just like solo guy trying to kind of figure out at the time I didn't really think the B2B would scale. I thought I was going to have to do RCA.
Yeah.
And I was even thinking about doing like an RCA low ticket to start, which would have been stupid, but that's what I was thinking. And so I went to kind of like learn that, but I also went because my buddy invited me and I was like, it seems like a lot of high level people there. V-Shred was there. And dude, the whole event, like their main thing, which was crazy for me coming from like high ticket sales, was they were like, yeah, our big, like I'm talking companies doing over 100 million a year would get up and be like, yeah, our big breakthrough is we realized we had to keep rotating offers so many times because our LTV wasn't high enough. So we've been adding like high ticket. And that was like the breakthrough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, that's like common sense.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But that's just, there's so much more in the DR world.
So much
and
more.
they were adding that for the first time. So there's a huge trend of those companies who, like there's this one, there was these guys from, I think it's called Natural Health Sherpa. They gave this talk about how to get off the offer crazy train because they had to keep recycling offers to get their DR numbers to work. And they're like, yeah, we added coaching. We're selling 3K at the back end. Now our LTV is like 3X. And now an offer rides for like 2 years opposed to 6 months. And I just thought that was really interesting. So there's a huge need of those companies, to kind of merge with high ticket.
Yeah.
There's a merge coming there.
And they're doing
there's another merge between media and also high ticket because that's the best way to monetize media.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're like super famous on social media, unless like you're to the Logan Paul's point where you're just going to do Prime or something like that.
The big thing with those guys are that as he's edge case, but like even a lot of them is the servicing. They don't want to be part of it. They don't want to be the guru. They don't want to be.
Exactly.
And like yesterday we had talked about this at dinner. There was 2 different guys who are like they're running as growth partners, growth op or whatever for very, very well-known famous. And they're like, they refuse to do content, like to do, ads, like straight facing.
I know.
Like it has to be whatever. They refuse to do this. They do like, they don't want to be on the back. Like it's just like not that interesting, whether that's because the dollars aren't that interesting or like the clout and like vibe. And I get it. I mean, I don't sell anything. I don't know. But to go back, the health one is an example. Someone who's doing that with the partnership, like affiliate model. When I started doing internet stuff was affiliate lead gen world, all of that. And I have like a lot of friends that's still their business model.
Are probably the best. I would say those guys are probably the best media buyer, copywriter, marketer.
They literally are.
Then there's ecom, which most of them just graduate into ecom.
Yeah.
We're actually,
they want to.
We're actually like our industry, whatever you want to call it, people who do high ticket sale coaching things. We're like kind of the worst, I would say.
Yeah.
You know,
but
we're the best at monetization.
Because we have the most room for error through that. Yeah. So I don't know why it's taken me so long. Like we tried it a couple years ago and did like a month long. I got up at like 4 a.m. I built an entire low ticket in like a morning, was like, just run it. And it was on, Alan Sultanic's AC framework at that time. Cause this was like 2 years ago. We ran it and they were like, the economics of it sucked. No one even looked at the ads. Like it was just like a team dynamic, a buy-in, a whole thing where it was just like, we'll just run on this little side thing. Yeah. Barely any pixel stuff. And then we looked and it was getting like multiple $100 purchases for like a $27 thing or whatever. We were just like, turn it off. And we just went back and it was like lead funnels. And we've just been in this game of like, how do we, spend 30 grand a day, 50 grand a day, 20 grand a day, like all over the board. And then, manage these fluctuations and manage the huge fluctuation of the media buying paired with the huge fluctuation of a sales team. And that's it. And it's like when they're both good, you're printing cash. Yeah. One is bad, you're like breaking even, only making money on the back. Yeah. If both are bad, you're literally burning the back money. It's like, it has been our rampant. And it's like, it's terrible. So like we were talking revenue maxing versus profit maxing. We've had like, we're good, but like by no means are we like you good. And now the economics of how we're starting to shift it, it's like clear as day that it just needs a little bit more volume to get over like the essentially like overhead burden and
Yeah.
or, like in a cash flow sense, prior sales, all of that. Like we just keep all that sitting there. So on cash flow, you're like, oh, this isn't whatever. But when you look at like the unit economics now, Josh Gavin was just talking about low tickets at Nick Fisher's event. And I was like, I wish I would have shared the numbers, but we had a day 4 or 5 days ago where we spent like 30 grand, call it raw CPA on days like $3,200 or 3,000 something, let's call it. You go down, we have all these columns, and then you go to the net world and it's like $1,400
Yeah.
because it liquidated so much from like we're starting to like teeter in that direction. And I'm like, how fast can we do this? Cause I want to just have leads going to the highest value,
Right,
highest ones, like the 1 to 3% that are ready to buy, basically going through application, getting on a phone call ready and or organic. There's so many.
How is your low ticket? Would you say it's validated right now?
Yes.
Or, okay, so it is.
Yes.
So you're kind of, so correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like, cause I talked to you a couple months ago
And it was not.
and you're like, we're trying to figure out how to do it. I think like we might have cracked it, but I don't know. We're like 2 days into this test. So now you feel like you've cracked it finally. And it's a matter of you have a lot of spend. So it's just shifting the spend and letting that eat the spend of the other thing.
Yeah. And the constraints of low ticket are when you increase spend, does CPA rise with it? Because that's bad. And that's usually comes back to media buying, offer, and or right now what we're in a big belief of is our creative engine. We don't
you need way more creative with low ticket.
So that's why like you see all my stuff right now is like I'm hiring a paid creative strategist, we need a person that owns all the editors, and just has here's what the recipe that's working right now. I need 20 from this, 20 from this. And we have hundreds new a week is like, that's the next target for that. So that's like constraint 1. Constraint 2 then is we go direct to call from that. So then you need the mass, essentially setter army, right? Because if you're selling 300 a day and you're getting 60%, call it 50 for easy math, you're getting 150 setter bookings. Are they fit? And I message this. I'm like, are they 15? Are they back-to-back 15s? Are they 30 minutes?
Yeah.
And we're doing inbound Zooms. So they're booking in inbound Zoom calls.
Yeah.
And then what's the show rate on there? What are the levers you can pull? What's the throughput of that to closers? Let's say blended numbers, 25%, right? Like that makes it to a closer call. So you're getting like a healthy amount of closer bookings that then that you no longer need to run as anywhere near as much lead campaigns, VSL opt-in stuff. And the economics are like 10 times better. The closer environment's better or should be. But then all of a sudden you have this training arc because then you ramped a bunch of people and they're just passing everyone through and the setter or the closers get pissed. Like there's that whole world. So it's like constraint. But you see the economics at like a small/medium scale and you're like, oh, this is why.